Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm here with Silver, and they just took first place in my DarkArmedDuelist virtual locals I host for the patrons. Which if you guys are not a patron, definitely check it out, because we have all sorts of awesome rewards, and I even host tournaments for the patrons through Discord. And Silver just took first place, which congratulations. And what were you playing?
I was playing Scareclaw.
Alright, so before we get into this, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely hit that bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad. And do you have any shout outs, Silver?
Shout out to, of course, you for the opportunity to do this. Shout out to my channel. I haven't uploaded in like 7 months. I eventually want to get back to it, but life has gotten really hectic. So hopefully you guys give me a little bit of patience with that.
Alright, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, guys, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. And we're going to go ahead and get straight on into this.
Alright, so of course, starting off with the Scareclaw monsters, we won 3 copies of Scareclaw Reichart. All of these Scareclaw monsters, or at least the small ones, which I'll go ahead and place these real quick, they all can just summon themselves by having another Scareclaw on field, just summon adjacent or underneath. So it's really easy to get them out. Reichart is the main monster of this deck, just being able to special summon itself, then search for a Scareclaw spell or trap. And then if you have 3 or more defense position monsters on your field, you get to draw a card, which is really nice. Then we run 3 copies of the Acro. Acro has the ability that while it's on the field, any of your link monsters in the main monster zone, or in the extra monster zone that are Scareclaws, gain 300 attack for each defense position monster you control. So you can easily get your main boss monster to 4,500 just by having 5 monsters on the field.
That's insane.
It really is. And then Astra says that Astra has the ability to make it to where your link monster in the extra monster zone can attack equal to the number of Scareclaw monsters you control, which is really cool, that are in defense position, of course. So if you have all of these on the field, it can attack up to 4 times, which is really good. And then, of course, I run 2 copies of Balone. It's the one that you don't really want to see too often, but you do want to be able to make sure that it's part of your inboard whenever certain situations come up. So, of course, I run 2 copies because this can give your link monster
Piercing.
That's the word.
It's really good. Like, Ballone's really good, but I totally understand that you just play like 2 copies of Balone in the main deck.
Exactly.
It's the one that's the most cuttable.
It really is. But continuing on, we do run, of course, 3 copies of Fenrir, 1 copy of Scareclaw Kashtira. You run these because there are so many times where your opponent just outs your normal summon that just being able to special summon Fenrir first, search the Scareclaw Kashtira, it gives you the opportunity that, let's say your opponent pops your monster and now you can't go into your plays. You can just banish the monster that was popped, special summon your Kashtira, and then just continue playing by going into the Lightheart.
Yeah, that's really good.
Continuing on for the spells and traps for Scareclaws, we run 2 copies of Reichphobia. Reichphobia has a couple different effects. The first main effect is whenever this card is activated, you can then search for a Scareclaw monster. The second effect says that if you control 3 or more defense position monsters, or there's just 3 or more on the field that are in defense, you can just pop a card your opponent controls, which is just really good. And the last ability, it is a attack modification. For each defense position monster on the field, your opponent's monsters lose 100 attack for each, which is just really powerful.
That's pretty good.
The only downside to this card is you can only activate the card once per turn. So if you get your planet, you can't just go planet into planet at the same time.
Like if you already start with one, you can't like Lightheart for another one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get you.
And then I run 2 copies of Monster Reborn for the deck, the Scareclaw Arrival. It's literally just Monster Reborn. Target a Scareclaw, summon it. But in the graveyard, it has the effect, kind of like a Salamander Balinx, where if your link monster is going to be destroyed, you can just banish this instead. Which is just really good because people look at my Tryhard so often are like, can that thing be destroyed? I tell them, yeah, it can be destroyed. Because they never read the second effect of Arrival.
Yeah.
And then I run 1 copy of Defanging. Defanging is a really good card in this deck because it has a couple different effects. The first main effect is your opponent cannot target Scareclaw link monsters you control with card effects. So that just allows you to be able to add a little bit of extra protection to your Tri-Heart. Then it also has a couple other effects. The next one is you can banish a Scareclaw monster, Scareclaw Link monster from your graveyard to pop a card on the field. Then the third ability says that any monster destroyed by battle with a Scareclaw Link monster in the extra monster zone, that card gets banished instead. Then to wrap it up, we do run one copy of Scareclaw Twin Saw. This card is just really good because you can sack one of your Scareclaw monsters to pop 2 monsters your opponent controls. And then during the any of the follow-up turns, you can banish this from your graveyard to then make it to where another player can activate the effects of Link monsters with Link 2 or lower, I believe. Pretty much as long as you control a Link 3 or higher, which of course would be your Tri-Heart.
It's still pretty good.
It's
just an Icarus attack. Like, that's so good. It's just being an Icarus attack, just being able to just stop stuff.
The amount of times that this has come up for me, like, usually I use it whenever I see, oh, you have 2 monsters on your board, you're about to synchro, pop them.
Yep.
Continuing on, I personally run 3 copies of Visa Samsara.
This is spicy.
This card is really good for the deck because on the field and in the graveyard, its name becomes Visa Starfrost. So therefore, it allows you to be able to summon it back off of cards like your Scareclaw Rival, which can special summon back the Visa Starfrost as well. But the main part about this card that is really helpful, it is a level 4 tuner, as well as it has the stats required to be able to go into your copy of Lightheart, so it's another starter if you draw into it. But the main thing for this is we use the levels of any of your level 3s plus your Samsara just to be able to go into Ancient Fairy Dragon, which is really funny because it allows you to go into some other cards. We, of course, run the one copy of the Starfrost, but the card that we search off of Ancient Fairy Dragon is Peaceful Planet Calarium. This card is running here to either get into your Visa Starfrost or into a copy of Vanadium Fearless.
You just saw all the like Scareclaw cards, and we're like, oh, that's a Scareclaw reference. Let's work with that.
Pretty much.
I mean, you literally play the planet like the orb too. That's really cool. That's actually really cool. That's spice.
It really is.
Wow.
The best part about this is if you control a monster with this stats the same level, so your Reichardt, for instance, you can just special summon this card to your side of the field.
Wow, wait, what? How? Like, it just, if you control a monster with, 1500 and 2021, yeah.
And so you pretty much have this, like, so you can summon this out, and it pairs really well with any of your level 3s, but we'll go over why that's important in just a moment.
That's so strong. And it's a tuner.
Exactly. That's the main thing, is it's a Earth tuner. Keep that in mind. Continuing on into the hand traps, 3 Ash.
Gotta play it.
3 Valor. 3 Imperm.
Yep.
Pretty standard.
9 hand traps, pretty standard, yeah.
And then I run 3 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. This card, it helps when you draw into only one of them. I have had so many times where I draw 2 and it just ends up making it to where I just can't play the game.
Would you trade it out for other hand traps?
Possibly, but right now in this format, just having the advantage of looking at your opponent's hand, ripping a card, or even drawing into a Scareclaw monster if you kind of bricked, it's very useful. But as I said, if you see more than one, that's not the best. And then to wrap it up, we run 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army, just to be able to look up your copy of Reichardt.
I got you. That's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid main deck.
It's very tight. There's been multiple moments where siding is a bit difficult, but honestly, you run so many 1-card starters in this deck that
it's pretty easy, I guess.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah. Plus, those talents can always be sided, I guess.
Exactly. Continuing on, we do run 3 copies of Scareclaw Tri-Heart. Most people usually play this at 2, but I have had so many times where I had the 2 and they were already in the grave, and if I ran only 2, then I wouldn't be able to end games as often. Like I mainly run the 3rd just for grind games, but when it comes up, it makes it so much easier to break my opponent's board. So pretty much, Scareclaw Tri-Heart requires 3 effect monsters. Its main ability that we use it for is the fact that you can target 1 level 3 Scareclaw monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then search your deck for any Scareclaw. So, of course, the main thing for this is it changes all monsters' defense, and it's unaffected by defense position monsters' effects. So it's really hard for your opponent to out, which is just really funny if they're running no link monsters and no real ways to out it.
You just win.
Traps. You just win.
It's like Baguska, but like big.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what I always look at that card.
But again, the main part about this card is the fact of you have all of these small Scareclaws to be able to boost it up and give it extra attacks and just deal enough damage.
You know what this deck makes me think of?
What?
Better Crusadia.
Yeah, I would say
Equal Max. Yeah, that's just
yeah.
It's like Equal Max, and then like you give it the other monsters give it a boost. Yeah, no, it makes me think of Crusadia.
Continuing on, we of course run 3 copies of Lightheart. This is the main combo piece that you're going to go through. Every game you're going to go through at least 2 to 3 of them.
3, really?
Honestly, I've only seen a few lists, only run 2, but even still, because you're going to play it, you're going to use your Starfrost to pop it, and then you're going to summon it back using its effects because you control Starfrost. So you're going, and then you're going to link it off to search another copy of your planet for follow-up.
Yeah.
So you're going to go through 2 just in that combo. So it's nice to have that third to follow up just in case one gets negated, for instance.
Would you ever consider playing 3 planet?
I actually ran 3 planet for the longest time, but because the deck is so tight, just running 2 honestly is just fine. There have been some times where I did wish that I had the 3rd planet still, but in the long run, as long as you make try hard, you pretty much win.
Yeah, I got you.
But one thing I also didn't cover is the main thing about this is you play it, you search field spell. Also, that effect is not once per turn. So if your opponent negates it, you have a way to get rid of your copy, and then you can just summon another one to the extra monster zone. You can still search for planet even then.
That's so good.
Also, not a once per turn.
Yeah.
You can link into you can summon your monsters, link it off into this again, and use its effect again.
Yeah.
The only downside is it does lock you into Scareclaws. Continuing on, we run 1 copy of Cross Shape, which this right here is the main thing right here.
Oh, you got that from me.
I did.
That one was me when I was doing Baron stuff.
So this is actually a replacement.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, I thought so. Yep, I remember that.
So with this deck, it is so easy to be able to get your Starfrost as well as your copy of right card on field. So usually what you do is you would link off your other monsters into Cross Shape. You would summon out your Shengying. You would banish these from the grave. Summon back another monster off Cross Shape. Link all 3 of those away into Tryheart. Obviously, this card is also really good because it allows you to pop a card on summon.
Yep.
And then, of course, you have just the extra banishing with this, which is just really nice.
I miss Baron.
Me too.
I miss when Baron could be played in that.
But continuing on with the links, we run 1 copy of IP, 1 copy of SP, and 1 copy of Appaloosa. Don't really think I need to go into these too much detail.
And you probably could, for the budget players watching this, you probably could change out the SP for like Nightmare Unicorn or Phoenix.
Oh, for sure. I played Unicorn for the longest time instead of SP. I actually picked up SP not too long ago, so Nightmare Unicorn is actually still a really good option because it does allow you to be able to shuffle cards back into the deck, which is just really good. Now, continuing on into the interesting stuff. We do run Cypher Lord Omega, just in case you have the Rykart and the Samsara.
Because they're both 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could probably get away with running the Tenyi rank 8.
Draco Berserker.
Draco Berserker. Honestly, I'd probably run that instead of this, but I didn't even think about it until recently.
I don't know. Talents plus that. Rip
True.
2, yo.
Now for the interesting part of the deck. We have the Ancient Fairy Dragon and the Naturia Beast. So the way that we make the Naturia Beast, as I mentioned before, we have the level 2 Earth Tuner and any of your level 3 Scareclaws, which are Earth
Yeah, that'll do it.
So you get any of these plus this into Nappies, and your opponents just cry.
So I hear that you're saying hello to the Sky Striker players.
Exactly.
And the Runic players.
And then...
Shout out to them.
But yeah, that's it for the extra deck and the main deck.
All right.
I do have a side deck build, which is the side deck I built for the tournament, if you would like to see that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see the spice.
All right, so I run 2 copies in a Bureau.
Okay.
Pretty simple. 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Feather Duster.
Okay.
I'm going to save this card for the last.
That's the spice.
That's the spice. 3 copies of Evenly Matched.
All right.
3D Barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 Different Dimension Grounds.
All right. And the spice is... Drum roll.
Fire Prison.
What? Huh? Well, you can get to it with Ancient Fairy.
You can get to it with Ancient Fairy. That's the main use for it. But pretty much what this says is if one player controls a Link monster, your opponent cannot summon, or neither player can summon Link monsters with lower level or lower Link rating.
Whoa.
So you set up your copy of Tryheart, and if your opponent can't make a Link 3 or 4 easily, they might try to go into, let's say, SP to try to out it, but they can no longer do that anymore because of Fire Prison.
That's pretty spice.
Same thing with Dahmer for hire, or the for hire.
Yeah, Donner for hire.
Dahmer for hire, yeah.
Yeah, because you can pop a card.
Also, the main reason why I say that this is spice, what level, like what are the link ratings for the Fiendsmith cards?
1s and 2s.
So if you can set this up, your opponent just can't play Fiendsmith.
Yeah, no, they can't. They cannot play Fiendsmith. That is spice. Well, Silver breaking the format again. Breaking Scareclaw. So do you have any other shout out, Silver?
Not that I can think of.
All right.
Shout out to my daughter who's been supporting me by crying through my tournament rounds.
Yeah, I remember you told me when you won that she just gave you the biggest smile too.
Yeah, once I won the tournament, I just celebrated. I looked over at her, biggest smile.
Yeah. And again, if you guys would like to check out one of the tournaments, we host them through the Discord, and you can get access to that through my Patreon down in the description down below. But again, congratulations, Silver, for coming in first place. And I'm really glad that you won, because I get to sit down with you and actually do this deck profile.
Also, I wanted to say to my competitors from the tournament, better luck next time.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can come for our notification squad. We'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.